In today's video for Throne Liberty, we're going to be going over what you need to know about the new 2-star dungeons that are going to be taking place very shortly. I'll be going over how you can prepare for them, what you're going to need, and why this is going to be the perfect opportunity to make yourself a whole bunch of lucent very fast and something you definitely don't want to miss out on. Now, as we can see here from the official Throne Liberty Twitter page, they're stating that the actual content is going to be heading straight over to us on the 21st of November, so literally in around about a week's time. We're going to be getting the 2-star dungeons, and furthermore it goes on to state that they'll be using a completely new currency. So rather than the standard dimensional contract currency we're using, they're going to class that as tier 1. This one will use tier 2 dimensional contract tokens. So unfortunately for anyone who's been saving up a whole bunch of these, it looks like they won't be helping you out whatsoever, and instead you're going to get a new lot that you'll probably be using up daily. If we take a sneak peek at one of these dungeons, you can see that this one is classed as the Void Wastes, and we're going to be getting 5 dungeons in total, all of which that are going to give you a certain piece of armor type. The main thing you're going to need to know about this, the pretty much only prerequisite is going to be that you need to have a minimum combat power of 2500, so make sure your character, or your characters, however many you've got, are definitely geared up enough to take advantage of these, because these are going to be giving you some of the best loot in the game and stuff that has been very difficult to get hold of until now. A few of these dungeons are going to be kind of higher tier versions of the one we've already seen, with 2 more of them looking like they're completely new scenarios. Each one is going to give you a designated armor type drop, and as always it'll be down to a bit of RNG whether or not you get the item you're after. But the dungeons are going to give you head, chest, hands, leg and feet. So you're going to want to go for the ones that's going to help you out with your pieces that you've probably been lacking most times in your build. Now these pieces of loot, like I said, they're not going to be your standard pieces, they're going to be the tougher ones that you probably haven't been able to get hold of, or at least if you're anything like me you haven't been able to get hold of, because these were usually only obtainable from your field bosses. Some of the best gear in the game, such as the Shot Commander headpieces, will now be able to be obtained from these carp dungeons, and it's really going to help people to kind of level the playing field a little bit and not be at such a disadvantage to some of those people that have been wailing on the game so much. Now you're going to have to forgive me because I have been tweaking, mucking around and just moving a lot of things around on my character because I've completely changed up what I was going for originally. So ultimately my build is currently lacking quite a lot, and I'm only hitting around about 2.6k gear score, where I've not really got on the items I need or anywhere near as much traits as possible. But now's the perfect time to change all of that, and honestly when these dungeons hit I'd say you want to take advantage of them every single day in order to reap the most benefit for it. Even if you're like me and you have pieces of gear that aren't absolutely perfect or ideal, you'll be able to swap them out and hopefully get yourself something nice from those carp dungeons and replace it with a much more ideal piece of gear in order to make a more perfect build. One thing I would say, it doesn't look like there's going to be any kind of weapons or anything such as that dropping in these, so you're going to want to have focused on those beforehand, rank them up as high as possible, make sure they're absolutely ideal for your build, and if your build is lacking on things such as health, you may want to invest in it or just chuck quite a bit into your strength in order to build it up a little bit, because these guys are going to hit a lot harder than the original co-op dungeons. Now the reason I'm saying that now is going to be the perfect time to make some lucent, catch up with a lot of people and just kind of help yourself out a lot is going to be because if you go over to the auction house, you'll notice that an absolute abundance has crashed in prices, all the way from your precious gems to your lithographs and even your really nice pieces of gear that you're able to put onto the auction house straight away. The reason for this is because now people are getting more geared up, they're obviously selling things, they're undercutting, and the market in itself has gone down quite significantly from when the game first started. This will always happen unfortunately, but now you're able to get a little bit of a chance to reimburse yourself, get yourself a lot of lucent, because for the first few weeks of this, I'd probably say the first 2 weeks, maybe even 3, you'll be able to get a lot of lucent from some of these drops you're getting within the co-op dungeons. Remember, some of the pieces of gear, because they were highly sought after, are going to be going for thousands upon thousands of lucent, whereas other pieces are just not quite as required in some builds, so they won't be quite as significant. But what you're going to want to do is make sure you're prepared for this, know exactly what you're after, and then even if it's not for your build, you'll be able to make sure you can get a nice pretty penny for yourself by either putting them on the auction house by extracting their traits, or by putting them on the auction house by turning them into a lithograph themselves. I've actually been going through 2 servers worth of actual sales on the auction house in order to see which ones work out best, which ones are absolutely amazing, which ones are not quite as good, and currently there's a few things that stand out to me. One, definitely in my eyes, do not skip out on leg day. Even if you think that that's not going to be something you're after, there's quite a few legs in the game that sell for quite a lot of lucent currently, so if I was recommending one dungeon to run, it would probably be the ones that's holding on to those. With a bit of luck, you'll be able to get a nice drop. Something like Shop Commander's Greaves would be absolutely ideal, and then either lithograph it or extract the trait in order to make a good amount of profit. Now, I've put together a list of all the highest drops currently in the game, and these are going to be the ones in general that you'll be looking out for if you're trying to make a lot of lucent that way. Personally, I'd highly recommend, if you are trying to do this and you're trying to make lucent rather than looking for the ideal slot for your build, then you want to be focusing on, like I said, legs is absolutely amazing, or if not that, then I'd probably be going for the headpieces. The reason for this, there's a lot more that drop, and even though some of them are quite as high value as some of the other items, such as the swirling robe, you can have more opportunity to get a lot more drops that are worth a nice amount of lucent rather than a low amount that's worth a little bit more. One thing I would say, I think the head slot will probably be the first slot that goes down in price, because a lot of people will run in that dungeon for things such as the Shadow Harvester's Mask, but until they do start falling, they're definitely going to be worth running. Another great thing, looks like once we're defeating these dungeons, we'll be getting our hands on even more new dimensional soul shards that again will be directly linked to whatever boss we're beating, and again, very similar to the ones we had previously, you could be able to rack these up, get a certain amount, and then you'll be able to spend it on a selection chest with the goodies you're after. Obviously the dungeons aren't that yet, so this may well change, but from the looks of it, it looks like they're only going to cost 30, so I think we'll probably be running less of these dungeons each day than the ones we're running for tier 1, so we may only get the chance to run these twice each day as a daily. Bearing all that in mind, don't forget another thing you're going to want to set yourself up with is going to be your trait extraction stones. Make sure you've got an abundance of this at the ready. I have already stocked up on quite a few of them, around about 500, and I'm going to be getting myself more this week as well. Remember, you won't need that much as you won't be able to run this dungeon continuously, but those and the enchanted ink are definitely going to be something you'll want to have at the ready, just in case you do get a nice drop and you want to be able to kind of accrue a bit of lucent very fast before the prices start to drop. If you do need these, remember doing your daily contracts is going to allow you to get hold of quite a few of those contract tokens, and then you'll be able to go to your contract coin merchant, pop in there and exchange them there throughout the week. Now, the reason I'm saying take advantage of this while you can, one, it is absolutely amazing and these dungeons are going to be perfect for helping a lot of people to try and gear up, myself included, but the other thing, until the market actually crashes, because these become more commonplace, you'll be able to make much more lucent very quickly and hopefully get yourself something that you wouldn't have been able to get any other way than purchasing it through your lucent. As a last note, don't forget, if you have got a secondary character, now is going to be the absolute best time to take advantage of them. You're going to want to make sure you log on daily, take advantage of these 2-star dungeons, hopefully get yourself a nice drop, and even if you don't need it for your character, chuck it on the marketplace for that server and get yourself as absolute much lucent as possible that way. This is going to double up on your chances to make a lot of money, and like I said earlier, you're only going to have a certain window of opportunity with this until the actual market crashes a little bit and the price is steadily lower, so now is definitely a time to be logging in on both characters if you've got them, running those dungeons and hopefully getting yourself some nice drops in the process. That pretty much sums up everything at the moment. I am really looking forward to the 21st now. I cannot wait. Drop a comment if there's any piece of gear that you've been trying to get hold of and now are really looking forward to being able to actually obtain it, and as always, there's going to be a lot more content away from me. For now, take care, I'll see you on the next day.